The question is, I don't know what I'm selling. I can't make up my mind. How do I figure out who I am as a business? That's a great question. Often that is part of what, as a coach or a consultant, I do for businesses and individuals. Because often everybody wants to change the world. Everybody wants to make the biggest impact. Everybody wants to do this cannonball level splash into the world. And they see all of these things, from books to videos to movies to t-shirts to hats to tin can, like they see it all. And then they see that I could help adults and kids and coach, like all of the, like they've got all of these things that they want to impact. But when I ask them, what is it you're selling? What is it you're doing? What is your expertise? Why would I come to you? They freeze up because there's so much. When I go to Walmart, and think of it this way, there's two kinds of Walmart shoppers. There's the ones that go in and just wander up and down the aisle. Just wander up and down the aisle. And if something sparks their attention, they're going to pick it up, put it in their cart. They may wander for another 10 minutes and then take it out of their cart and sort of shove it back where nobody can see it because they changed their mind, and then they'll put something else in. And they'll get up front and they'll be ringing it out, and there's no enthusiasm, no really yay, I'm so happy. Unless it's one of those clearance items like the day I got my boys shoes for $1 a pair. Yes, we have 4 years worth of those shoes in our closet. Or you have the Walmart shopper that says, I'm going to Walmart, I got to pick up this. Boom, in, out, gone, done. Next day, I need to go to Walmart, I'm picking up this, boom, next day, gone. You want to create such clarity in what you do and how you provide a service, what pain you relieve, what problem you solve, what item you have, that when I am out there in the social media, out there in the business world, when I am looking for solution, your lighthouse is so clear. I'm like up, in, out, good. But when you're sitting and you're diluted with all of the things that you do and all of the people that you want to serve and all of the stuff, you're only going to attract those people that might engage. And then they might disengage even during the engagement process, or they're not really enthusiastic about you. And the problem with those non-enthusiastic people is just like the Walmart shopper that got to home and they're like, I don't know why I bought all this crap. We don't really need it. And they start to doubt themselves, and they don't have a lot of great feelings, and then they get yelled at by their spouse for picking up some obscure thing that they already have 3 of in the closet. They begin to get dissatisfied with the source. You don't want that happening in your business. You can't afford to have that happen in your business. When you're such a small business person, and small doesn't mean that you're playing small, but when we have such a crowded market and you can only take up so much market share, you want to gain such loyal fans, such loyal disciples of you and what you do, that they're selling you to other people. They're selling you into the world. They're creating clients and customers for you. So often part of that process that I do as a consultant or as a coach with people is going through that thing, that funnel thing. It's like, this is what I want to do. And I keep asking questions and questions and questions and questions. And I get it so tight that they get you can almost hear the frustration, but I want to do all this. I'm like, yeah, but if you can get it this tight, would you rather go really deep and really strong in what you do and have people really know who you are, that they're racing to your door? Or would you rather be so wide that you're managing all of this stuff in between and nobody really knows how to connect to you, how to engage with you, how they're just whatever. And so they begin to lose track, and you begin to lose momentum, and you become distracted by 1,001 things, and then your business doesn't launch, or it doesn't take off, or it kind of bubbles along the ground, and then you begin to doubt yourself as a business person, as a person of service, as a person of commitment, when in reality, it's you didn't define to me, consumer, client, engager, the thing that I need you most for. I have people in my circle, people in my network, people in my center of influence that I don't expect certain things from them because that's not where their expertise is. But I know when I go to them, I'm getting this and I'm getting it at the highest level, and I'm getting it at the most direct way, and that when I leave, I am going to be full, satisfied with no regrets. So even in my business, there's a lot of confusion about what I do, which I get. That's partly my fault, partly the re-engineering. And so you have to constantly be monitoring it. You have to be making sure that you're staying in your thing. I heard an expression the other day that I think best sums it up. You can talk wide or be wide, but you market narrow or market small. If you want to talk about something because you have an opinion or you have a perspective, that's fine. But when it comes to finally marketing and building what you do, you want to keep it very narrow so that people can say, you know what, they're really great at this. And by the way, they do pretty good over here, and they do pretty good over here, and they kind of have a great opinion over here. So that's the answer that I have to the question. I hope it was satisfying. Again, the question was, I don't know what I'm selling. I can't make up my mind. And how do I figure it out? I forgot the how do I figure it out. Figure out who I am as a business. So I'm going to backtrack just like half a sec. And how do I figure it out? The way my brain works, and it's probably broken, so don't try and copy it, is for some reason I can hear ideas and thoughts in a very sort of chessboardy way that I start to see all of these little squares filling up with words or thoughts or ideas. And then I guess it wouldn't be chess. It's more like connect the dots. And all of a sudden I'll start to see like this pattern in the words or in the dots or in the feelings and I'm like, oh, did you see how this, and this all really align, but it goes back to this one thing? And they're like, no, I didn't see that. And I'm like, see that thing right there, that little square that you missed, that's where you're at. You're just building everything around it and not seeing it. It's kind of the way my brain works. I don't know if it's right or wrong. So what I often encourage people to do is get a stack of sticky pads and just start writing out random ideas. People, ideas, problems, solutions, feelings, etc. as it relates to the business. Like, who do I want to work with? Where do I want to work? What problems do I solve? What don't I want to do? And just start sticking them even on like a window or a door, and then step back and start studying it. And then you'll peel off the ones that just seem redundant, that seem weak. And pretty soon you start to get this like, oh my gosh, look at this. All four of these seem to say the same thing. That's the beginning point. Another way is some people like mind mapping, where they'll put one bubble in another bubble and another bubble and another bubble, and then they try and connect the dots. And it works. It works. You can't write your life from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. It doesn't work that way in reality. You can't write your vision, your mission, your purpose as a business from the top of the page to the bottom of the page. You've got to see it outside of you, and you've got to see it as the parts of the experience that you want to create and that you've had, and then bring them into a central idea. And if you have 4 or 5 sticky pads at the end, that's good, because then you're like, okay, what do these have in common? What feeling do they have in common? What purpose do they have in common? What people do they have in common? What product do they have in common? What platform does this sound like? And I got to caution, some people will call a platform YouTube, Instagram, Facebook Lives, a book. Those are vehicles. The platform is where you stand. What do you stand on? When somebody asks you something, what is it you're standing on as your belief, your voice, your message, your whatever? And how you deliver it is that vehicle. Social media, a book, a webinar, a podcast, and all of that. Doesn't matter. If I put you in a car and ask you a question, you're going to answer it the exact same way as if you were a guest on my podcast. Now, granted, you'd mix it up and move it around, but I could still hear those 4 sticky notes in what you were saying. All right, so now I think I got the question right.